If you are 70, 80 years old, how to be silently attractive and unspokenly irresistible. Imagine this. You're sitting in a cafe, enjoying your coffee when someone walks in. They're older, maybe in their 70s, maybe even 80s, but there's something about them. You can't quite put your finger on it, but they have an undeniable charm, a quiet magnetism that pulls you in. And as you watch, you realize it's not their looks, not their clothes, not their perfect smile. It's their presence. It's the way they move, the way they sit, the way they listen, and the way they make you feel like you've known them for a lifetime. That's silent attraction, the kind that doesn't shout for attention but quietly, effortlessly holds it. Now, what if I told you that you too could be this way, at 70, 80, or even beyond? That you could become irresistibly attractive without having to compete with youth, without needing to change a thing about who you are. I'm here to show you how. You don't need loud words, dramatic gestures, or flashy outfits. No, being quietly irresistible is about something much deeper, something that only grows stronger with age. So stick around, because today, we're diving into how to be silently attractive and unspokenly irresistible, no matter how many candles are on your birthday cake. Let's get started. Part 1. Understanding attraction beyond the surface. We've all heard it before. Beauty fades with age. But here's the truth. Attraction? It doesn't fade. It transforms. When we think of attraction, our minds often go straight to youth, right? The perfect skin, the youthful glow, the high-energy vibes. But let me ask you this. How often have you been drawn to someone not because of their physical appearance, but because of something deeper? Maybe it was their calm energy, their confidence, or the way they made you feel understood without a single word. That, my friend, is the true power of attraction, and it only grows stronger with age. At 70 or 80 years old, you've lived a lifetime of experiences, faced challenges, celebrated victories, and learned some lessons the hard way. And all of that, it radiates from you. It doesn't shout, it doesn't even need to, but it's there, quietly working its magic. Think about this. Have you ever met someone older who didn't have the sharpest jawline or the clearest skin, but they had this undeniable charisma? It's their energy, an energy that says, I've lived, I've loved, I've learned. And when you stand in the presence of that, you can't help but be drawn to it. This is what I mean when I say, attraction transcends the surface. As we age, our beauty shifts from the skin-deep level to something much richer and far more compelling. This silent attraction doesn't require anyone to be perfect. It just requires someone to be authentically themselves, grounded in their story and the wisdom they've gathered along the way. And guess what? That's what makes you irresistible. Your story, the depth that comes with living through decades of life. Takeaway. Attraction, especially as we age, isn't about holding on to youth. It's about embracing the wisdom, the calm, and the authenticity that naturally comes with it. And that, my friend, is way more powerful than a fleeting physical feature. Part 2. The silent power of presence. Have you ever walked into a room and instantly felt the presence of someone without them saying a word? You don't even have to see them to feel it. You can sense it. It's the way they carry themselves, the energy they exude without trying to. That, my friend, is the silent power of presence. And the best part? It only gets better as you get older. You see, in our youth, we're often racing around, trying to impress people, trying to fit in. But as we age, something magical happens. We start to realize that we don't need to chase anyone's attention. We don't need to prove anything. Our confidence isn't loud. It's soft. It's subtle. And that's when the real attraction begins. There's something uniquely powerful about the way someone who's lived through decades holds space in a room. It's in the way they sit, the way they walk, the way they listen. It's the calmness that comes with having lived and learned. And that calm? It's magnetic. When you walk into a room at 70 or 80 years old, you don't need to announce yourself. You don't need to talk loudly or wave your arms around. Your presence speaks louder than words ever could. People are drawn to you because there's a certain peace about you, a wisdom that says you've seen it all and you're perfectly okay with whatever comes your way. And that peace, it's irresistible. One of the most attractive things you can do as you age is learn the art of listening. And I mean truly listening. Not just waiting for your turn to speak, but absorbing what others are saying with full attention and care. This creates an energy around you that's calming and, yes, irresistibly attractive. People gravitate towards those who make them feel heard, seen, and valued. It's a form of silent communication that says more than any words ever could. Takeaway: you don't need to speak loudly to be noticed. The true power lies in your presence, the way you stand, sit, listen, and just exist. And as we age, we naturally learn to carry ourselves with a quiet confidence that others find magnetic. Part 3. Embracing your life story. You know, as we get older, we often start to realize something really powerful. The most beautiful thing about us is our story. Think about it for a moment. How many stories do you have in your heart? Stories of love, of loss, of adventure, of lessons learned the hard way. Those stories, they don't fade. In fact, they only grow more fascinating with time. When we're young, we often feel pressure to look a certain way, to fit into society's idea of beauty. But as we age, we realize something profound. We don't need to compete. We don't need to prove ourselves to anyone anymore. Our stories speak for us. They've been etched into the lines of our faces, the sparkle in our eyes, and the way we interact with the world. At 70 or 80, you're not just an older version of yourself. You are the culmination of decades of life experiences. And that's magnetic. People don't just want to hear your stories. They want to learn from them. You've lived through things, faced challenges, overcome obstacles, and found ways to keep going. And that resilience, that wisdom, it's irresistibly attractive. When you share your story with someone, whether it's a quiet reflection on the lessons you've learned or a funny anecdote from your past, it creates a connection that no superficial trait ever could. People are drawn to those who have depth, who carry the weight of experience without letting it harden them, who've lived and loved and learned. Your story isn't just about you. It's about everyone you've met, every experience you've had, and every piece of advice you can offer. And that is magnetic in its own quiet, humble way. So, embrace your story. Don't be afraid to share it. It's one of the most powerful tools you have to become quietly irresistible. And the more you share, the more others will be drawn to your depth, your wisdom, and your authentic self. Takeaway: the real attraction at 70 or 80 lies not in your physical appearance, but in the rich, full life you've lived. Your story is your greatest asset. Share it, embrace it, and let it naturally draw others in. Part 4. The importance of self-care. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Self-care? Isn't that something for younger folks, people trying to stay in shape and look good? But let me tell you something. Self-care is for everyone, no matter your age. In fact, as you get older, it becomes even more essential. Not just for your body, but for your mind, your spirit, and yes, your attractiveness. Attraction isn't just about how you look. It's about how you feel. When you take care of yourself, you radiate confidence. And confidence? That's one of the most magnetic things about anyone, no matter their age. When you're in tune with your body, when you're active, when you eat well, and when you take time to rest, it shows. But self-care goes beyond physical health. It's also about mental wellness, keeping your mind sharp, whether through reading, learning new things, or simply staying curious about the world around you, is crucial. A sharp mind isn't just attractive, it's compelling. People are drawn to those who have a thirst for knowledge, who continue to grow and evolve, even in their later years. And let's not forget the importance of nurturing your spirit. Self-care isn't just about looking good. It's about feeling good, about finding peace and joy in the simple things. Whether it's enjoying a good cup of tea, tending to a garden, or taking a quiet walk, the little moments of joy you create for yourself feed your overall energy and radiate outward. This positive energy, this contentment with yourself, is what makes you quietly irresistible. So, at 70 or 80, don't just focus on taking care of your body, take care of your mind and your spirit too. The way you nurture yourself shows others how to appreciate you, how to respect you, and ultimately, how to be drawn to you. Takeaway: attraction is more than skin deep. When you nurture your body, mind, and spirit, you not only feel better, but you radiate an energy that draws people in, effortlessly and silently. Part 5. The Art of Subtle Fashion and Grooming. Now let's talk about something that might surprise you: fashion and grooming at 70 or 80. You might think, well, I'm too old to care about fashion, or it doesn't matter what I wear anymore. But here's the thing: what you wear does matter, especially when it reflects who you are. At this stage in life, style doesn't mean following trends or chasing after the latest fashion. No. At 70 or 80, style is about timelessness. It's about choosing clothes that make you feel confident, comfortable, and authentic. Gone are the days of worrying about fitting in with what's in. Instead, it's about wearing what fits your personality, your body, and your unique sense of self. The beauty of dressing as you age is that you get to embrace a style that's purely yours. You've got the freedom to wear what makes you feel good without feeling pressured by societal expectations. Think classic pieces: simple, elegant, and effortlessly chic. A well-tailored jacket, a favorite scarf, or a pair of shoes that you've had for years because they're comfortable and just feel right. And let's not forget about grooming. Personal grooming doesn't have to be about keeping up with youth standards. It's about maintaining your dignity and honoring yourself. Maybe it's a regular haircut that frames your face just right, or perhaps it's taking time to moisturize your skin, keeping it soft and healthy. It's about small, intentional acts that show you value yourself, your appearance, and your well-being. Here's the trick: when you wear something that feels like you, when your grooming is just enough to make you feel good, it's like a silent signal to others. You're telling them you have a deep respect for yourself, and people are drawn to that, whether they realize it or not. Takeaway: at 70 or 80, you don't need to chase fashion trends. Embrace timeless style and grooming that makes you feel confident and comfortable, and others will naturally find you irresistibly attractive. It's the silent confidence that makes the difference. Part 6. The Power of Kindness and Empathy. Here's something that will never go out of style: kindness. As we age, the importance of kindness only becomes more and more clear. And not just the kind of kindness that's polite or expected, but the deep, sincere kind of kindness that comes from a life well lived. At 70 or 80, your ability to make others feel understood, seen, and respected can make you one of the most attractive people in the room, without ever saying a word. There's a quiet power in empathy. Think about how it feels when someone truly listens to you. Not just hearing your words, but really understanding what's behind them. Someone who doesn't judge, doesn't interrupt, but just takes the time to sit with you and your emotions. That's a gift. And as we grow older, we often get better at this. We've been through enough to know how to give others the space to be themselves without trying to fix or change them. When you approach people with empathy, when you offer them your understanding and compassion, you create an atmosphere where they feel safe and valued. And that, my friend, is one of the most irresistibly attractive qualities you can possess. Think about the older individuals in your life, those who've always been there for you, whether they're family or friends. They might not have been the loudest or the flashiest, but they've had this way of drawing you in with their warmth and care. That's kindness in action, and it's quietly magnetic. So, at 70 or 80, don't underestimate the power of a smile, a kind word, or a gesture of understanding. These small acts of kindness don't just make others feel good, they make you feel good too. And when you feel good, when you radiate warmth and care, others can't help but be drawn to you. Takeaway: kindness and empathy are the quiet superpowers that come with age. At 70 or 80, your ability to make others feel heard and valued is one of the most attractive things about you. Never underestimate the power of a kind heart. Part 7. Acknowledging Vulnerability and Authenticity. Here's a secret. Vulnerability is one of the most powerful, attractive traits you can possess at any age. But as we grow older, we become much more comfortable with our own vulnerability. We stop pretending to be something we're not, and we start to embrace the real, authentic version of ourselves. In our youth, we often feel the need to hide our flaws, to appear strong and perfect. But as we age, we begin to realize something truly liberating. Our imperfections are part of what makes us beautiful. The lines on our faces, the graying of our hair, the quiet moments of vulnerability we experience. All of these things tell a story of a life well lived. And this authenticity? It's magnetic. People are drawn to those who don't try to hide behind a mask. When you are comfortable being yourself without the need to perform, it creates an energy that others can't help but notice. It's a kind of quiet power that says, I've been through so much, and I'm okay with who I am. And that kind of self-acceptance is one of the most attractive qualities anyone can have, no matter their age. As we age, we learn to embrace our vulnerabilities, whether it's our physical appearance, our emotional scars, or the realities of life's challenges. The more we acknowledge and accept these parts of ourselves, the more we become unspokenly irresistible. Because authenticity is about being real, and there's nothing more attractive than that. The key is to let go of the pressure to be perfect, to just be yourself. You're not defined by your flaws or your aging body. You're defined by the strength it took to get here, the wisdom you've gathered, and the love you've shared. That's the kind of authenticity that draws people in. Takeaway: embrace your imperfections, your flaws, and the vulnerability that comes with age. Authenticity and self-acceptance make you more attractive than any facade ever could. People are drawn to the real you, the one who's comfortable in their own skin. Part 8. Creating a Legacy. As we age, we begin to think more about what we're leaving behind. The legacy we create isn't always about what we do in the spotlight. It's about the way we touch the lives of others and the impact we have long after we're gone. At 70 or 80, the most irresistible thing you can do is invest in others. Whether it's through mentoring, passing on wisdom, or simply being there for someone who needs you, your legacy becomes the threads that connect generations. And that's incredibly attractive. Think about the people who have impacted your life. It's probably not the ones who had the flashiest personality or the best looks. It's the ones who showed up for you, the ones who made you feel heard, the ones who gave you the confidence to be yourself. Those people, they leave a lasting impact, a legacy that endures in the hearts of others. Now, imagine you're creating that legacy every day, even without knowing it. Every kind word, every piece of advice, every action you take to help others, it all builds the foundation of your legacy. And the beautiful thing is, this kind of impact doesn't need to be loud. It doesn't need to be grand. It's the small, quiet ways we change the world that create the most enduring legacies. So, when you're 70 or 80, don't think of your age as something that limits you. Think of it as a stage where you have the ability to influence more than you ever could before. The wisdom you've gained, the compassion you've cultivated, these are your gifts to the world. And that, my friend, is what makes you irresistibly attractive. Because the legacy you leave behind is one that will continue to touch lives long after you're gone. Takeaway: the most irresistible people are those who create lasting legacies. Whether through mentorship, kindness, or love, the impact you have on others is what truly makes you magnetic, and your legacy will outlast you, continuing to inspire and attract long after you're gone. Conclusion: as we reach our 70s and 80s, it's easy to think that the best days are behind us, that the world only values youth and beauty, and that attraction fades with time. But here's the truth. Attraction is not a fleeting thing. It doesn't depend on how many years you've lived or the lines on your face. No, the kind of attraction we're talking about, the kind that doesn't need to shout, doesn't need to be perfect, and doesn't need to prove anything, is timeless. At 70 or 80, you possess a quiet, undeniable charm that is rooted in everything you've lived, learned, and shared. It's in your presence, how you carry yourself with a calm confidence that speaks louder than words. It's in your stories, those deep, rich tales that make you who you are. It's in your self-care, how you've learned to nurture your body, mind, and soul. And most importantly, it's in your kindness, your empathy, and the legacy you leave behind. So, don't be fooled into thinking that being attractive means keeping up with the trends or chasing after youth. Being silently attractive at this stage of life is about embracing who you are, owning your journey, and allowing the quiet confidence that comes with age to shine through. You are irresistibly attractive, not because of what's visible on the outside, but because of everything you've learned, everything you've survived, and everything you've shared with the world. And that kind of attraction doesn't fade with time. It only grows stronger. So embrace it. Embrace your story, your wisdom, your vulnerability, and your presence. Know that you don't need to do anything special to be magnetic. You just need to be yourself. And trust me, that is more than enough to be silently attractive and unspokenly irresistible. Final thought: age isn't a limitation. It's an opportunity to embrace a deeper, more authentic form of attraction. So go ahead, live your truth, share your wisdom, and let your irresistible charm shine in the quietest, most beautiful way possible.